Heaven only knows where you've been, but I don't really need to know. I know where you're gonna go. Turn the lights down low. Yeah, now I'm feeling you breathing slow.
G'day guys, my name's Dave Tran and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. And by request today I'll be teaching you how to play Lights Down Low by Max. Now in this video I'm going to teach you two different ways of playing this song. The first way I'm going to teach you is just a really easy strummed version, and then the second way I'm going to teach you is the finger-picked riff that's in the studio version. Now for the basics of this song, you'll need your guitar in standard tuning and you will need a capo on the first fret of your guitar. Now if you want master chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to take your guitar to the next level, then check out GZ2H Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. Alright, let's jump into the verse for the easy strum version, and we just have a nice and easy 3-chord chord progression here. We'll start with the D chord, and then we'll go to an E minor 7. So you'll have your index and middle on the 2nd fret of the 5th and 4th strings. Ring and pinky finger will go on the 3rd fret of the 2nd and 1st strings. It's E minor 7, and then we have a B minor chord like that. Now if the B minor bar chord is too tough for you, then you can try a B minor 7 chord like that as well. Although it won't sound as good, but that's an easier version for those beginners who can't quite play bar chords yet. So those are our 3 chords. Now for the strumming pattern, it's going to go something like this. Down, up, mute, down, 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 up. Now that mute is going to be more or less of a down strum, but as you come down for the down strum, your palm will hit the strings as well, so that nothing rings out, and you just get that muted slap. So for example, with the D chord, the strumming pattern will sound like this. Down, up, mute, down, 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 down. Now if that mute is too difficult for you, you can just replace it with a down strum, which will sound like this. Down, up, down, 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 up. Now you're going to play each chord up here for one strumming pattern, so the verse will just sound like this. That's it for the verse. Now we move on to the pre-chorus, which is actually used in the bridge as well. Again, it's just a 3-chord chord progression. We have G first, and then we have an A chord, and then we have a B minor chord. And that B minor is played for 2 strumming patterns. So altogether, the pre-chorus and the bridge will sound like this. Finally we get to the chorus, and this is just a 4-chord chord progression that goes E minor 7, and then we have our D, and then we go to B minor, and then A. Now you'll notice that there's 2 chords within one set of brackets, and that just means that 2 chords are within one strumming pattern. Now the point at which you'll change chords in that strumming pattern is highlighted up in the annotations here, but it's basically that 2nd down strum. So for example, from the E minor 7 to the D, it will sound like this. Down, up, mute, down, 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 down. And the same thing applies to the B minor to the A. So in total, the chorus just sounds like this. Down, up, mute, down, 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 down. And that's everything you need to learn for the easy strummed version. So moving on, now we get to the studio version, which is the finger-picked riff. Now we're going to start with our index finger on the 5th fret relative to the capo on the 5th string, and your ring finger will go onto the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Now for our finger picking basics, your thumb will take care of the 6th, 5th and 4th strings, and your index, middle and ring finger will take care of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings respectively. They shouldn't pluck any other strings other than the ones they've been assigned to. Now the first bar is based around this shape, which is basically a D chord. We're going to start by hitting the 5th string, and then we'll hit the 2nd string, and then quickly after that we'll drop our hand and slap the strings for a muted slap. Now most of that sound comes from the side of your thumb coming down and hitting these bassier strings, which will then hit the metal strip and make that noise. Now after that muted slap, on the end beat after the 2, we'll pinch the 5th and 2nd strings together again. And then on the 4 beat, we'll do another muted slap. And then on the end beat after the 4, we'll simply just lift our fingers and hit the open 5th string by itself. And altogether, for the first bar, it will sound like this. Now when we move on to our second bar, we'll just slide these fingers up a couple of frets. So your index finger will slide up 2 frets and your ring finger will slide up 1 fret. So we have an E minor shape here. Now in terms of the picking pattern itself and the rhythm, it remains exactly the same. So we start on the 5th string and then we're going to hold that out for a little bit and then hit the 2nd string, and then really quickly after that drop our hand for a slap, and then on the end beat after the 2 we'll pinch those 2 strings together, and then on the 4 beat slap, and then we'll lift our index finger and hit the open 5th string. So the pattern is exactly the same, which sounds like this. Then for the 3rd and 4th lines, we'll move this exact same shape down to the 3rd and 2nd frets like that. And we're going to be playing the same picking pattern twice, which sounds like this. And that's it for the verse riff. Really nice and easy. So all together. Now, one little extra thing you can add, and this is actually in the recording, but it's not 100% necessary, is to add a little mute to the end beat after the 1. Now, when I say mute, you'll be plucking the 3rd string with your index finger, but with these chord shapes, make sure that your index finger is covering all these other strings and pushing down on the 5th string, of course. But by hitting the 3rd string, you'll just get a muted sound. And this is a little extra percussive element to the riff that is in the recording. Now it's going to be added into every bar on the end beat after the 1. So with the extra mute, it will just sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So there's a little extra thing you can add in if you want to be really true to the studio recording. I won't be using it in the playthrough at the end, but it is something a little extra that you can add to the riff. So let's move on to the pre-chorus, and we're going to start with a shape like this, which is based around a G. So middle fingers on the 3rd fret of the 6th string and ring fingers on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Now in terms of picking pattern, it's going to be exactly the same as what we had in the verse, except our bass note is now the 6th string. So start with the 6th string, hit the 2nd string, slap, and then pinch those 2 strings together on the end beat after the 2, and then we'll slap again on the 4 beat, and then on the end beat after the 4 we'll lift our finger that's playing the bass note and we'll hit the open 6th string this time. So in total it will sound like this. Now for the second bar, we're just moving that exact shape up 2 frets. So now your finger's on the 5th frets relative to the capo, and we're playing the exact same pattern, which sounds like this. And then for the 3rd and the 4th bars, we'll move our fingers up another 2 frets. So now we're on the 7th frets, and we'll play this for 2 picking patterns. Now notice on the very last bar we don't hit that open 6th string at the end. We'll leave that out. Alright, so for the chorus we just have 2 bars here. It's really nice and easy. We'll start with this E minor shape that we had in the verse. Index finger on the 7th fret of the 5th string, ring finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. So we'll hit the 5th string, then we'll hit the 2nd string, and then we'll slap, and then we'll change positions and go to this D shape. So index finger on the 5th fret, ring finger on the 7th fret. And we'll pinch these two strings together on the end beat after the 2. And then we'll hold on to that, slap on the 4 beat, and then we'll lift our index finger and hit the open 5th string. So in terms of rhythm, that picking pattern stays the same, except we're changing chords now. We're not playing one chord shape for one full picking pattern. So it will sound like this altogether. Now for the second bar, we'll go down to this shape here on the 2nd and 3rd frets, which is based around a B minor chord. And the picking pattern is exactly the same. Now when we change chords, you'll just slide your ring finger down to the 2nd fret and you'll lift your index finger. So the bass note is now just the open 5th string. So for that bar, it'll sound like this. So that's it for the chorus, and we just repeat that over and over. So all together. Thanks guys, hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Be sure to head over to guitar0tohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to take your guitar to the next level, then check out Guitar0 Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course which features fingerstyle tutorials, lessons and theory that I don't teach here on YouTube. As always, please hit that like button, hit subscribe and click the little notification bell as well so that you don't miss out on my updates. Please leave your thoughts, comments, questions or requests down below, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar0 to Hero. Cheers.